Today, I'm going to tell you a story in clear, easy English. We will be working at level B2, intermediate. Turn on the subtitles to see the translation in your own language. The Stranger That Knew My Name, Part 3. Threads that pull us together. Roger sat alone in his small apartment, staring at the photos spread across his kitchen table. The images still unsettled him, even after everything that had happened. He traced his finger along the blurred outline of Patty trapped inside the burning building. Every time he looked, he felt the same cold shiver run down his spine. He still had no idea who sent them. The envelope had no name, no return address, no message, just the photos, raw, urgent, and terrifyingly accurate. But somehow he sensed they weren't meant to frighten him. They were meant to guide him. For days, Roger tried to make sense of the visions that had been haunting him. They came randomly, often at night, sharp as lightning and impossible to ignore. The sounds, the faces, the danger, they all felt real. Too real for him to dismiss as imagination. But the photos changed everything. They proved he wasn't losing his mind. Someone else had seen the future too, and that someone wanted him involved. His thoughts kept returning to Patty, to the shock in her eyes the day after the fire, and the way she looked at him as if he held answers he didn't actually have. He needed to talk to her again. Meanwhile, across town, Patty was recovering from the trauma of the fire. She kept replaying the moment the explosion shook the building. She could still feel the heat on her face, still smell the smoke burning her lungs, and every time she blinked, she saw Roger standing there, watching her. She didn't know what scared her more, the fire or the idea that someone could truly see the future. Her life had been normal before. Now, it felt like she had stepped into a story she didn't understand. Marissa was still in the hospital, but recovering well. Her gratitude toward Patty was overwhelming. "Without you," she whispered during one visit, "I would have died." Patty squeezed her hand, swallowing a wave of emotion she wasn't ready to handle. That evening, Patty returned home with a heavy mind. On her kitchen counter lay the photograph Roger had shown her, the first one. She had stared at it so many times the edges were wearing down. She still couldn't decide what was more disturbing, its accuracy or its origin. She picked it up again, tracing the shape of the burning building. "Who took this?" she muttered for the 100th time. Someone must have known the fire was coming. Someone must have seen what Roger saw. She suddenly felt a strong, inexplicable pull, a feeling that wouldn't let her stay home. She grabbed her coat and stepped outside, letting her instincts guide her. She didn't know where she was going until she arrived. Maple Street, the mailbox. Roger had said the photo appeared there, though he had no idea who left it. Patty stood in front of the box, feeling a strange connection to it. At that exact moment, Jessica stepped around the corner. She carried her old film camera, and her eyes widened when she saw Patty. Patty turned, confused by the woman's sudden stillness. Neither of them spoke. Jessica's voice trembled slightly when she finally said, "You're the woman from the photos." Patty stiffened. She didn't know whether to run or ask a dozen questions at once. "Who are you?" she asked cautiously. "My name is Jessica," the photographer said, holding her camera like a shield. "I know this sounds strange, but I think my camera is showing me things before they happen. Patty's breath caught. It felt like a piece of a puzzle had just clicked into place. Jessica looked around nervously before continuing. I didn't know who to warn. I don't know how to explain it, so I put the photos in this mailbox, hoping they would reach someone who understood. Patty stared at her, overwhelmed. You sent them, Patty said quietly. Jessica nodded. And someone received them, she whispered. Someone who acted. Patty took a slow breath. Roger. Jessica blinked. Roger? He's the one who warned me, Patty explained. He said he sees visions. He saw the fire before it happened. Jessica felt a heavy weight settle in her chest. So, there's someone else like me, Patty nodded carefully, and I think all three of us are connected. For a moment, neither woman spoke. They stood on Maple Street like two travelers meeting at a crossroads, their lives suddenly woven together by something they couldn't explain. Finally, Jessica whispered, "We need to talk to him." Patty hesitated. The idea of facing Roger again made her anxious, not because she feared him, but because she feared what he might say next. Before Patty could respond, a car drove slowly past them. Both women turned their heads in sync. The driver stared at them with an unblinking intensity. The car continued forward, disappearing around the corner. Jessica felt her stomach tighten. "Did you see that?" she whispered. Patty nodded, unsettled. "That man looked like he recognized us." A sudden dread washed over them, the kind that comes from realizing someone is watching you for reasons you don't understand. Patty stepped closer to Jessica. "We're not the only ones who know something is happening." Jessica swallowed hard. "We need to find Roger now." Patty nodded, clutching her coat tightly. The two women hurried down the street, unaware that the car had circled back. Far behind them, the driver parked in the shadows. He lifted a camera with a long lens, focusing on the two women walking quickly away. He clicked the shutter once, then again. Their faces appeared clearly in the frame. He lowered the camera slowly. Then he spoke into a small device clipped to his collar. "I found them," he said quietly. "All three of them." I hope you enjoyed this story. Please hit like, subscribe to the channel, and click the notification bell. Until next time, take care and learn something new every day.